Hello, Tim Lawton here, and I'm outside Parliament in Parliament Square, where we've been joined today not just by the usual pro and anti-Brexit protesters, but by a large group of the climate change activists who have hit the headlines in the last week. Now, whilst I may disagree with some of their methods, not least why they were demonstrating and disrupting public transport, they are absolutely right in that climate change is the biggest challenge facing our planet today, and will be the biggest challenge long after Brexit is at last resolved, I hope. And we've also been lucky in Parliament today to hear from the Swedish young activist Greta Thunberg, who has become the iconic figure for encouraging young people to be vociferous, to have their voices heard, hopefully in a responsible way, to make sure that those in positions of power are doing more and more urgently to combat climate change and to help our environment. And she was a very inspiring speaker in front of a packed room of MPs and parliamentarians. Now, this group have asked for government and for politicians to speak the truth, and I think that is right. Now, whilst I agree with their aims, I think some of their objectives are overly ambitious. If we are to wipe out the challenges that they are talking about by 2025, it will mean getting rid of all petrol, all diesel vehicles, all gas boilers within the next 5 or 6 years. That, of course, is completely unrealistic. But we need to do more to make sure that clean energy, renewable sources of energy are much more readily available and affordable. And let's just look at some of the facts, because whilst I agree this is a big issue, the government actually has done a lot over recent years. Since 2010, for example, the UK has become by far the most successful major economy within the G20 at reducing CO2 emissions, 50% more than any other G20 country. And thanks to the UK cutting CO2 emissions by no less than 25% since 2010, the UK's emissions are now at the lowest level they ever have been since 1888. Now, I'm not trying to be complacent here. We need to do a lot more, and there is a climate an emergency. But actually, we need to recognise that some of the actions the government have been taking have been significant and are having results. It's just that we need more of them, and we need them more urgently as well. Since 2010, the government in the UK has increased renewable energy production by more than 4 times. In the last few days, we have gone without any energy produced by coal-fired power stations for a longer period than ever before, and we're phasing it all out by 2020. Again, we are leading other Western countries in taking real action here. As a result of the policy, a lot of the large UK electricity producers have switched to renewable. E.ON, for example, who's responsible for the Rampion wind farm off Sussex that we really welcome, now no longer produces energy from carbon-based sources. And also, the UK is one of the most important centres for attracting investment in new technology, in cleaner fuels in the future. We are an attractive place to invest because we are taking this subject seriously. Now, I set up the I Project now 11 years ago, Eco Young and Engage, back in the constituency, to encourage young people to do more, to take the future of our environment seriously, and to spread best practice. They are the real ambassadors for protecting our environment and for climate change in the future. And I know it works because I get so many complaints from parents saying, oh, it's because of you and your eco summits that my son or daughter attended that I'm now getting constantly hassled to switch off the lights or shut down your computer or stop running the tap. Everybody can do their bit. So I applaud the energy and the enthusiasm behind the protesters we have here today, and others who take the whole issue around the environment and climate change seriously. And I think it also has been a great way of engaging more young people who are always described as being apathetic about politics, but actually getting involved in environmental politics is getting involved in politics, and we've never seen so much engagement as we have now. So we've a lot more to do, but let's also remember that a lot has been achieve, not just on climate change, but what the government has been doing about cutting down on single-use plastic, cutting down on carrier bags, banning microbeads, creating marine conservation zones all around the United Kingdom. These are all important measures to protect and preserve our environment for future generations. We just need more of it, and we need it more urgently. But let's all work together to achieve this for the good of our planet and for the good of our children and grandchildren in the years to come.